like, I'm just trying to read the Bible. Now I gotta get the camera and I gotta set it up and I gotta find the right angle and I gotta make sure my hair don't look bad. Make sure y'all don't see my African edges underneath here. Like, I don't got time for all that. Clearly, I have to find the time. So I am in Daniel, and I was reading chapter 2. Nebuchadnezzar, somebody's king, whose name is longer than me, Nebuchadnezzar. Listen, I can't understand barely this English, let alone the old English, but there was a king named Nebu somebody, and he had a dream. And this is where we go back to God keep telling people to tell all my business on all the stuff I've been hiding my whole life. So he had a dream, just kind of like Jacob had dreams, but he had a dream about something that was happening. So he goes and he gets some, this is why it was important to me. He goes out and he, y'all just gotta bear with me because I'm trying to do this, okay? Oh, he goes out and he gets some astrologers. Where is it? Okay, so the king summoned the magicians, enchanters, sorcerers, and astrologers to tell him what he had dreamed. And he said, y'all tell me what I dreamed last night, or I'm gonna unalive you guys. And if you tell me what I dreamed about, then I'll tell you everything. I'll give you everything in the world, whatever. And then so the astrologers was like, yo, we can't tell you what you dream, like that's impossible. And he was like, hey, well, you gotta surely die. And they was like, hold on, let's figure this out. So they find out that Daniel knows how to interpret dreams. So Daniel, I might be saying that wrong. Maybe Daniel didn't know how to interpret dreams, but somehow they get to Daniel. And Daniel was just like, that's impossible. So he goes and he prays and he's just like, God, what do I do? Like, he want to know. And then so God comes to him and talks to him. And then it says, during the night, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision. During the night, Daniel had a vision. So if it was during the night and Daniel had a vision, we're just going to assume that was a dream. It might have not been a dream. It might have just been Daniel was sitting around reading the book or, you know, playing with his thumbs, and then God came to him in a vision. For those of you guys who get visions, you understand. For those of you guys who don't get visions, visions are just like on That's So Raven sometimes, where it's just not animated. Just take all the fun animation away. Like, I'll just be sitting there and then I'll see a car accident. And then God, you know, would just show me a vision of a car accident. I'm like, God, what's with this car accident? And then I'll drive up the road and I'll see this car accident. It doesn't work that simple. This is just how I'm trying to explain it. It'll be a little more intrigued with that. But yeah, visions. So God gives Daniel a vision in his sleep, which is a dream. So if you have dreams about certain things, you need to pay attention to dreams. That's when God is trying to speak to you, because you clearly don't listen during the day. Let's see. Oh, and then during the night, the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision. Then Daniel praised the God of heavens and said, praise be the name of God forever and ever. Wisdom and power are his. He changes times and seasons. He sets up kings and disposes them. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to discerning. He gives wisdom to the wise. If you ask God for the wisdom, he will give it to you. Because only a wise person is smart enough to ask God for wisdom. A fool thinks he has it already, but a wise man knows he doesn't, and they will ask for it. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in the darkness. Now, going back to my family, that is a lot of how some more kids came. But it's cool, these kids live here, so I ain't tripping on them. But anyways, going back to my family, I had a lot of dreams about what my family was doing to me. And off the subject, on the subject, twin A. God kept telling me she was, you know, betraying me. And I'm like, God, like, I hear you, but it's twin A, you know? And then he was like, all right, set her up. So I set her up and she fell for the bait. And I was like, damn, like that hurt. But it was because God told me in my dream that I was able to set her up in reality, in 3D, real life, and see that she wasn't for me. So Ask God for wisdom. He knows what lies in the darkness. He knows what's in the hidden. He knew that she was going behind my back saying things. I didn't, because I trusted her. So he was just like, listen, set her up and see what happens. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what lies in the darkness, and light dwells within him. I thank and praise you, O Lord, my Father. You have given me wisdom and power. You have made known to me what we asked you for. You have gave us the dream. Okay, listen, because I'm struggling, okay? So, God tells Daniel what the dream is about. And then so Daniel goes to the king. And he says, all right, king, God told me, he said, I know I can decode your dream for you, but not because I'm wiser than you or anyone else, just because God came to me. Not because I'm wiser than you or anyone else, it's just because God comes to me. It's not that I'm wiser than you or anyone else, it's just that God comes to me. God comes to me because I open the door for him. If you open the door, you can be just as wise as me, Daniel, Joseph, Jacob, whoever, you know. And this is just for the people who's envious or who don't understand certain people's gift. If you present yourself to the Lord, he can make you wise, but you have to ask him for wisdom. You have to go to him humbly and say, God, I don't know what's going on. What do you want me to do? Literally, when them DMV bitches turned on me and I got sick and my brother passed and I lost my job, I was like, God, what the fuck is going on? Why is everybody trying to tell me that I'm crazy when I know what's going on? Why is this going on? Why the hell do you have me here? Why did you have me born? Why did you put me on this planet? Because none of this is making sense. And I just went off and asked all kind of questions. And this is how my spiritual journey started. It literally started with me going off, asking God, what the heck is going on? Please help me understand. I never asked God for, I would always ask God for wisdom. I would always say, please help me understand. Because I can't say like, God, why would you kill my brother? Why would you take my brother from me? Because my brother and I wasn't that close. You know, I was fighting with him before he passed. He was really fucking horrible to me. But him dying in that way just seemed like really cruel. And I'm like, God, he was fighting for his life. Like, why would you do that? Like, what's going on? Like, I understand that you're taking him and you took him, but why? Or even like with Nipsey Hussle, because Nipsey Hussle passed right before my brother, and I wasn't a fan of Nipsey. I had just started reading his music 2 weeks before he passed. Literally 2 weeks before I started reading his music, because I love poetry and I learned he was a poet. And I'm like, God, why would you take him? Like, I literally just, you know, fake fell in love with this man, because that's no man respect. But I just fell in love with this man, and then you took him, and then you took my brother, and I'm like, what the hell? And my brother favored Nipsey not that much, but enough where it was enough. When my brother was passing, where he had long hair like Nipsey, and he just looks like Nipsey when he passed, and it was just like really hard. And I'm like, God, why would you do this? Why would you take Nipsey Hussle from us when he was, you know, he was just healing the world, and then you let a raggedy hood dude take him out? Like, what is all this? And God started explaining it to me, and I started understanding why God takes certain people from us, or why God does certain things. But the whole point is to not ask God, why are you doing this to me? But God, why is this happening? What is your will? What are you trying to tell me? What is your delivery? So when you realize that you're losing your job and all these things that you perceive that is bad, you perceive it as bad. Ask God why. Because when I lost my job, I perceived it as something bad because I worked really hard to get that job, and I worked really hard for everything that I lost, and then God showed me. And I didn't like it and I didn't agree, but I understood. Ask God for wisdom, because you're here to learn. You're not here to enjoy your life, honestly. That's an aspect of it. Your main goal is to complete your mission. Your mission. What is your mission? God, what is my mission? Why am I here? What is my purpose? You know, they always say, what's your purpose? Your purpose. And that's cool, because we all do have a purpose. But God has a mission for us. What is that? Your mission might just to be like some people, you know, I know some people lost young children, but there's this little girl in particular, I don't want to tell her story. She was 7-year-old and she was killed, and she was just like a ball of fresh love and light, and she passed of cancer. And she told her mom before she passed, and she said, my mission was here to spread love. And she was just like, but I'm finished, so I have to go back. What is your mission? Your mission may not be to be 122. Your mission might just be to make it to 33 and to wake up a whole bunch of people. Because that's what Nipsey's mission was. His mission wasn't to be here forever. His mission was to be here to 33 for a reason. Jesus died at age 33, and so did Nipsey. So I wonder what that means. And I'm not saying Nipsey Hussle was Jesus at all. I'm just saying God has symbolism. So ask God what he wants and pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to the voices inside of you that are of love, light, and positivity. And I don't necessarily mean voices like, because anxiety shows up as voices too. What I'm saying is your inner voice, your intuition, that voice that says, nah, don't do that. These damn kids. I'm terrified. I'm terrified that if I don't respond to the children right away, something's happening and I won't be able to save them. So as soon as they text her call, I'm like, huh? Oh, okay, leave me alone. But anyways, wrap up my story. Ask God for wisdom. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to numbers and symbolism. Pay attention to things that repeatedly happen. If you see something happen in a cycle repeatedly, that's because God keeps trying to tell you something and you're not hearing it. Like, there's something about green eggs and hams that keeps standing out. Bad analogy, but what is it about green eggs and ham? God might be trying to tell you to chat back into your childhood. Where were you when you first remember the story of the green eggs and ham? How old were you? Do you remember anything about that? It just can be anything. God sends us messages through so many things. We have to stop. We have to learn the difference between entertainment and reality, and some of the things that we use to entertain us is wrong, and some of the things that we talk about negatively and like conspiracy theories, or I don't want to go too deep into it. Just pay attention to how you feel about things and not what other people tell you about things, and research your dreams. If you're having a dream about someone attacking you, don't focus on someone attacking you. Focus on how you feel when you're being attacked. Focus on how you feel. Oh, this is my last message. If someone tells you you're too emotional, if someone tells you that you're too vulnerable, or anything that says you think with your emotions, you need to pay attention to those emotions. Whether those people say that to you in a negative or a positive light, pay attention to those emotions, because those emotions belong to God. The emotions of anger and frustration, and that doesn't belong to God. That is of the devil. And confusion is the devil. All of the negative emotions, God can get rid of those. You just have to ask him for it. You have to ask him to rid those emotions. And you have to understand that just because you ask God for a new house doesn't mean he's just going to give you a new house. He might make you be homeless, living in a hotel for a few months until you get that house. You don't know what he's doing. I know my house is coming. I don't like the fact that I'm in this hotel until my house is ready. However, that's God's purpose. That's his journey. Because I gained so much from living in this hotel for the past few months. Positive, negative, enlightenment. Do not question God's journey. However, while you're going through that journey, ask God, are you sure this is, and not to question him like, God, are you sure? But like, okay, God, are you sure? Because I want to make sure that I'm doing all that I can to not be in this hotel. Are you sure this is what you want to do? Because I would never want to have my children here. Is this what you continue to ask God and continue to pray? Continue to pray. I have an alarm set that goes off 5 times a day, and I would pray. And even if 5 times a day, I just say the Lord prayers, our Father. That's what I do. And then for the past few days, I've been so frustrated. I'm just like, thank you. And he's like, that's cool. I just recognize me 5 times a day. Of course, I do it way more than that. But the habit in the Muslim faith, they pray 5 times a day. So that's a habit that I'm trying to pick up. Take some time throughout your day to speak to God, to meditate, to be alone. Take some time to be alone. Take some time to be alone. Take some fucking time to be alone. When you take time to be alone, then that's when you take time for God. So when you ask your husband, because I had a cousin, I told her, ask your husband every day for an hour. You just need an hour every day. And if your husband tells you, I can't give you an hour every day, then you need to divorce him. And everybody was mad at me for telling her that, but I'm not telling her to divorce her husband. What I'm saying is, if that man cannot give you an hour of fucking day to spend time by yourself and take care of those kids, that man don't give a shit about you, because he doesn't want to give you time alone. So when someone doesn't want to give you time alone in the flesh, their spirit is trying to block you from spending that time with God. I hear like the pastors in my head, like, amen, let the church say amen, like, oh, but y'all don't hear me now. You know how the pastors be. When that spirit inside of your husband or whatever, because I know guys is watching, but I'm talking to the ladies. When that spirit is inside of your significant other, they may not be knowing, they are not aware, because we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. That spirit inside of your spouse is telling you you don't need no time alone, because they know that when you start spending time alone, you're going to start spending time with God. Whenever you're alone, you're spending time with God. Take that time alone. Take an hour bath and listen to a podcast. Take an hour bath and listen to somebody church, spiritual healing. Take a time alone and listen to an audiobook. On the way home from work and on the way to work, I will listen to an audiobook. I can read 3 books in a week because I'm listening. Instead of reading, I'm hearing it. Take that time alone. Put more positive things into you instead of negative things. You do not have to listen to the radio station on the way home. You don't have to listen to your Jay-Z playlist on the way home. I'm just saying, you can still do it, but don't do so much of entertainment that we lose focus on God and spending time alone. And spending time alone and spending time alone. You do not need to be surrounded by people. You do not need to be surrounded by people. You do not need to be surrounded by people. You need to spend time alone. You need to spend time alone. You need to spend time alone. Psychology says if you tell somebody something 3 times in a row, repeatedly, they will get in their head. You do not need to be surrounded by people. Spend time alone. Focus on yourself. So when you listen to politicians, you'll hear them say those things. You'll hear them repeatedly say something like that. Pay attention to what is going on out there. Just like I'm trying to brainwash you to love God and listen to God, they brainwash you for bad things. I'm just learning and I'm sharing with you. Spend time alone. Focus on yourself. You do not need to be surrounded by people.